Canelo or Crawford?
It's tricky. I want Crawford to win, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, I would like for that to happen, but this guy's a hard puncher. He's a smart fighter. He can move. I'm just curious. I just want to see it. I want to be there to see it.
He feels like this is a ridiculous fight. He states that Terence Crawford moving up 2 weight classes.
Into the fight, I wasn't really I just didn't like the fact that Terence Crawford had to go up 2 weight classes. I just didn't really like that. I mean,
Mike Tyson gives his raw take on Terence Crawford stepping up to fight Canelo Alvarez. Tyson says Crawford doesn't need this fight. He's already a legend with nothing left to prove. Moving up against a naturally bigger man, Tyson warns, could damage his legacy more than enhance it. He stresses that weight classes exist for a reason, and ignoring them puts Crawford at a huge disadvantage. While Tyson respects Crawford's skills, he insists the smarter move is protecting what he's already accomplished.
I just don't think it's a good idea. You know, I don't think, what would he have? I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. People have done things crazy like that before. It's just that he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do it.
You posted the other day, there's a picture of you in a Rolls Royce, and you said, the quote is, "I can't remember how many of these I gave away."
Canelo or Crawford?
It's tricky. I want Crawford to win, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, I would like for that to happen, but this guy's a hard puncher. He's a smart fighter. He can move. I'm just curious. I just want to see it. I want to be there to see it. Because listen, there's been upsets like that before. You know, Henry Armstrong, 124 pounds, he beat the 146-pound champ. So, you know, you never know. Anything can happen when 2 men are in a ring or in a basketball court. Anything can happen.
Tyson doesn't hold back, calling the proposed Crawford versus Canelo fight ridiculous. He explains that weight divisions exist to protect fighters, and the size gap between the two is simply too big to ignore. In his eyes, it's unfair and risky, overshadowing Crawford's true accomplishments. Tyson warns that fighting a naturally larger opponent could harm Crawford's career instead of elevating it. Despite his admiration for Crawford, Tyson makes it clear this matchup isn't necessary and could be dangerous.
Think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo.
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know. And he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that was just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky-jerky. Yeah.
Or one of them.
Yeah.
See, there's, it's a missing art.
9 wins by way of knockout. And Mike Tyson, he feels like this is a ridiculous fight. He states that Terence Crawford moving up 2 weight classes is a ridiculous fight, and that he's just simply too small, and he's gonna lose, and lose bad. He feels like he didn't want to say it, but he hinted around he's gonna get knocked out, right? He thinks that, you know, Terence Crawford has skills, he's talented, but he just feels like there's weight class for a reason. Like many people in the sport of boxing, they feel like it's weight classes for a reason. And so, you know, he's not the first person to feel this way. But my thoughts is this. Should Terence Crawford be victorious, as I expect him to, the hype train for Terence Crawford's legacy only gets bigger. Because there's so many people that are doubting Terence Crawford's ability to beat Canelo Alvarez because of the size, right? They feel like this is David and Goliath. And that story, that mythical story, is so big and so legendary is because of the size difference. You had the small little guy, you know, slaying the giant, right? It's just not supposed to happen. And so this just bolsters the myth of Terence Crawford.
Boxing insider Daoud Bey compared how Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez prepare for major fights, focusing on their sparring. He noted that Canelo carefully selects partners to mirror his opponent's styles, exposing weaknesses and sharpening his game. Crawford, meanwhile, thrives on adaptability and technical adjustments. But Bey questioned whether Crawford's sparring truly prepares him for the challenge of moving up 2 weight divisions. He stressed that Crawford has already secured his place as one of the greats, undefeated, multi-division champion, and widely respected. Taking on Canelo, Bey argued, is a gamble that risks his legacy more than it enhances it, since the weight gap creates unfair disadvantages.
Well, Canelo got a world champion right now in his camp with him with Boots. Well, Boots vacated.
Shakur, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much Shakur adds to this. He's a southpaw, and he's a smaller guy. I think that's just sharp brain. That's like if Boots was boxing Celine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm boxing him. My young boy nice, but he don't pertain to the fight necessarily. But everybody don't train like that anyway. Everybody don't look for to have all of these sparring partners be like identical or in the same realm of the person they fighting. Some people, they spar like for sharp minds, so they'll just try to have the best people they can have. So you never know what Bomac and them strategy is right there.
As far as stylistically, who do you feel like has the advantage heading into that? Well, I'm just looking at the sparring partners.
From the sparring partners?
Yeah.
I think Boots not the same as Terence Crawford, right? But I think he has athleticism, and he's a switcher, and he'll kind of go off for the playbook to do his thing. I think mind state-wise, I think Boots is a big help. The guys that Crawford got in there, because
Mr. Martinez cracking.
no, he punching. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like, bro, I don't know who got the best of that.
You ever seen Darrell Valsaint?
I have. You know, I'm a Haitian boy, so you know what I'm saying? But it's just hard. It's hard to, man, I just think the sparring for this fight is elite on both sides. I think that they both taking each other seriously. You could tell that by the sparring partners that they brought in. And I'm just kind of anxious to see the fight. Like, going into the fight, I wasn't really I just didn't like the fact that Terence Crawford had to go up 2 weight classes. I just didn't really like that. I mean, being honest, as a black boxing fan, when I take my coaching hat off, like, no, I don't want to see our best fighter have to go up 2 weight classes. I don't like that. But you think about it and you like, well, look, first of all, I don't want to deny that man. I wouldn't want to say nothing or even have it in my heart to deny that man that kind of financial like blessing that he gonna get from fighting Canelo. Not only that, he chasing greatness.
British journalist Gareth A. Davies sees Crawford versus Canelo as a potential turning point in boxing history. He argues that stepping into the ring with a bigger superstar like Canelo is more than a fight. It's a chance for Crawford to cement himself among the all-time greats. Every legend, Davies explains, faces that one defining test of courage, ambition, and skill. For Crawford, this could be it. While Davies acknowledges the risk of tarnishing an undefeated record, he believes these are the moments that transform great fighters into icons. Those remembered for taking on the toughest challenges, not just the safest ones.
The levels that he's gone through, the weights that he's gone through, and the opponents that he has been in with. He's come up short against a couple, but he's come through some big challenges as well through his, 65, 66 professional bouts since he was 15 years of age. There's no doubt that this is the biggest test of Terence Crawford's career, not only because of the weight step up, but also because of the level of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. I mean, he is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side. He's that good, the angles that he creates, and the way that he not only dissects people, but the way that he puts his foot down when he gets somebody hurt is
he's spiteful.
He's truly, truly impressive.
But what he also does, and this is where I think people are making the mistake with the fight with Israel Madrimov last summer in Los Angeles, was that Terence doesn't mind doing enough to win. He doesn't, if he knows he's got to win on points, he's happy to tuck everything neatly in in the office and win round by round. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. It reminds me of Pernell Whitaker. It reminds me of guys that win with ease without overstretching themselves, that don't have to get in a battle. But when he's got someone hurt, as you rightly say, he's spiteful. I'm not sure he'll get Canelo hurt in this fight. But if his timing and his movement are on, the slightly slowed Canelo, who likes to load up these days, could find himself frustrated by Terence Crawford.
Yeah. And there's also the aspect of when he is behind. I mean, we've all seen that famous clip where he's fighting Sean Porter. Somebody sells him ringside. They've got him down on the cards. He goes through the gears and stops Sean Porter in the very next round. There's also that element to him. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. But he's also fighting someone that's equally as brilliant. A very different type of style, Canelo.
And a fan favourite.
An analyst broke down Canelo Alvarez's take on the concept of running in boxing. Canelo pushed back on the negative label, saying real boxing is about movement, precision, and strategy, not just standing toe-to-toe. He pointed to fighters like Arislani Lara, whose footwork and timing showed elite skill. Canelo emphasized that positioning, angles, and smart adjustments are part of true ring IQ. The analyst highlighted that Canelo's perspective reflects the sport's deeper truth. Boxing isn't just aggression. It's also about calculated movement and adaptability.
But in case you didn't really understand what he was saying, Canelo is saying there's a difference between boxing, like being a boxer, and moving, and then you throw some punches. Ash, 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 ash. Like, you getting some punches in there. Then you, like, take a lap. Ash. Then you get some more punches. Ah. Right? And I agree with that. I agree. Like, my thing is this. If you know my channel, I've been doing this from way back. We go back like cornrows. I have never really been big on this whole, like, running language. Like, I don't, because you got to understand, old media, they were the ones that came out with this whole running charade. And I don't like it because it was initially used to, like, maim and marginalize oftentimes black fighters and Cuban fighters. When non-black, non-Cuban fighters would face certain black fighters or Cuban fighters primarily, they would get hit with this, like, oh, he ran moniker. And the reason you know it was racially motivated is because if you actually know boxing and you watch the fight, that's not even what was happening in the fights where they would claim that oftentimes a black fighter or Cuban fighter ran. Like Arislani Lara versus Canelo. I thought Lara won the fight with Canelo. And Lara was doing some very good work. Canelo started doing some good body shots in the back half.
Timothy Bradley Jr. dismissed concerns that Crawford's inactivity might hurt him before Canelo fight. Critics worry long layoffs could dull his rhythm, but Bradley disagrees. He pointed to Floyd Mayweather, who returned from breaks to deliver elite performances. In his view, Crawford is too disciplined and dedicated to let ring rust slow him down. Bradley believes Crawford's training habits and professionalism guarantee he'll show up sharp and ready, proving the inactivity debate is overblown.
Yeah, man, I was thinking, man, like, a lot of people is making a fuss about Crawford being out of the ring for over a year, you know. I'm not putting too much stock into that, man. I'm not really, you know. Floyd Mayweather's came back from after a year. Shoot, I remember John Jones, 3 years out of the game, you know. And I know it's a different sport, but it's still combat sports. 3 years out of the game, came back, faced the champion, beat him, beat the champion, you know. Crawford took the time to really build his body up, man, the way he needed to build it up. And I like his build because just looking at pictures and stuff like that, man, he put a lot of the weight on his legs. You know, that's going to help with stability. That's going to help with punching power. It's going to help with his ability to be able to take a shot, too. You know, he get razzled and dazzled in there from one of them big shots from Canelo. You know, he going to have some stability. He going to have a base to be able to keep himself up, you know. I always say, partly to be able to take a punch, I say, it's a lot to do with physical. It also has a lot to do with mental, and it also has a lot to do with genetics. Some guys can take it more than others. That's just it. Some guys can take it more than others, man. But, I would say we all feel like the same thing when we do get hit with a big shot. You hear that ringing in your ears. That's your brain bouncing around off that skull. Bouncing around off that skull. Some part of you get numb. Especially if it's a big shot. Your legs might get numb. Your arm might get numb. I remember when I got knocked on my behind against Kendall Holt, man, my right leg went numb.
Manny Pacquiao's trainer issued a serious warning about Crawford facing Canelo. He explained that Crawford has never fought someone of Canelo's size and strength in a real professional setting. Sparring bigger men doesn't compare to taking punches under the lights from a natural super middleweight champion. He stressed that every shot from a larger opponent carries a different kind of damage. Facing Canelo, who has beaten elite fighters in higher weight classes, is unlike anything Crawford has ever experienced. The trainer warned this leap could be too much, regardless of Crawford's skill.
I was fought 168 for quite a few years.
Correct.
Yeah. Crawford's never fought heavy. 154 is his max.
And he big
jump. And that makes a big difference when you're in the ring. You're carrying around an extra 20 pounds you're not used to fighting with.
He might get tired halfway through the fight because why? Because the blood cells, the muscle.
Trying to feed up too much muscle in that. It's not normal if you're not used to it.
Okay, what if he stays skinny and he comes in way under the weight?
Then he's gonna get hurt. Trying to get hurt. You might outbox him, you're gonna get hit. 12-round fight. The law of averages tells you you're gonna get hit.
And you like Crawford because I know he's been to your gym. It's just boxing, no bias.
No, it's just boxing.
Okay.
No.
What
Bud's a good guy.
And sport, it's athletics. It's Crawford has never been up there. Canelo's got a great chin. He's fought big guys. He's taken a lot, and everybody thinks he's done.
Another analyst reminded fans that weight classes exist for a reason: fairness and safety. Many argue that skill beats size, but he explained that's not always true. Crawford may be incredibly talented, but stepping in with someone as naturally big and strong as Canelo breaks the balance the sport is built on. Ignoring that size gap overlooks one of boxing's core principles. According to the analyst, the outcome of this fight will be heavily shaped by that very difference.
Bro, size matters. And what kills me, this is what bothers me so much, that I try to educate y'all. If you don't know how to fight, the only people who say shit like this are guys who don't know how to fight. They don't know boxing. You've never been in there before. Bro, I am telling you, something y'all need to understand. This is just like when I used to tell y'all for the longest. Y'all, I got videos on my page from 10 years ago. And I'm telling y'all that MMA fighters have terrible boxing. They have terrible boxing. This is the time where y'all was saying, this is before the crossover fights and shit. And I'm like, MMA fighters don't stand a chance against a boxer in a boxing match. And y'all just thought, they could use. Y'all are actually talking about people's wrestling backgrounds when it comes to boxing. Y'all are actually on here trying to talk about someone's wrestling skills helping them win a boxing match. Bro, wrestling is not going to help a boxer the same way boxing skills ain't going to help an NCAA wrestler in a wrestling match. His boxing skills, it don't matter how good his hands are with boxing. That's not going to help him win a wrestling match. You can have all the wrestling skills in the world. That is not going to fucking help you in a boxing match if you don't know how to box. If you're not a better boxer than the guy you're going against, your wrestling is not going to help you win. It's just not. It's two different sports, bro.
And that wraps up today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for more boxing breakdowns and updates. Until next time,